Hi there, I'm Jen Rottman. Thank you so much for joining me for this class. Although today is not going to be as much as a class, as I just wanted to really share a case study with you guys on one of my clients that worked in an MLM, because we really found some awesome insights as we were doing this to really make, I know there's a lot of people in network marketing groups and MLMs in the women helping women entrepreneurs community. And there's a few challenges that I see a lot of people having, like really when it comes to making it your own and really, expressing yourself creatively within a system, right? And somebody else's product. And I think a lot of people fall into the trap of then just becoming a sales rep, right? Like a sales rep, a consultant, rather than really running your own business that really feels like your own, where you really feel like you're sharing your own message, you're on your own mission, and you're really building something that's yours, right? Because if you're an entrepreneur and an artist, like that's really, we have that strong desire to create something for ourselves. And I do really believe that, for a lot of people, LMMs or network marketing is a really like a kind of good first stepping stone into running your own business. But what I really want to share with you, as I kind of closed off like with a client, which I'm going to call Nina for the purpose of this class, is which I really wanted to share with you guys, because I realized I was like, oh man, like she's embarking on this journey. This is really her own now, right? Like this is her dream. This is her business. She doesn't, that's what she kind of said to me at the end as well. She's like, I don't feel like I feel so much more confident. I feel like I'm speaking with my own voice. And it's not anymore, it's her business and her mission rather than, like I said, feeling just like she was a consultant and kind of living somebody else's dream, because it kind of can feel like that. Like kind of almost like feeling like a job again, rather than really doing your own thing. So I wanted to share with you guys just like real honestly what was kind of going on. Obviously I'm going to change a few things just to kind of obviously keep the confidentiality for my client, but these are pretty much the things that I took her through to really get to that confidence where it honestly gives me so much pride to work with people, to see the way I do teach a lot of like sales and marketing. Just to give you a bit of my background, I actually used to run a sales and marketing company. But I don't really like when people hire me, I always say like, I'm not here to teach you, strategies or give you hacks or tactics. That's not what I believe. I really, I work to 80% on the person, right? I really work on unlocking that, that creativity, that truth that all of us have within us to really, authentically be able to impact people, to really serve people in the way that only you can serve them. And, when it comes to marketing and selling, that's just sharing with people, right? It literally is just communicating with people and sharing who you are and what you're doing and how you can help them and serve them. And like the thing that I don't like as much about the marketing, that's often sold to like the hacks and this is the strategy that you need to use or the system. You're using somebody else's system, is not your own. So I never taught her anything in terms of, I sometimes give people a loose structure and I always say like, use this to begin with and adapt and change it to whatever feels right to you. But it for me, gives me so much pride, and like I said, just doing so much internal work with her, and like seeing the content change on her Instagram, like that's what we're really focusing on, was just mind blowing to you, because like I said, that's really a person that's really found their own voice and that really is sharing from the heart and living their mission. And her sales, you mean like absolutely increased, like they were just continuously increasing month after month, and like again that obviously is a victory in itself. But it's like I said, when it comes with you really feeling like you own it and that is yours and something that you've created, the most beautiful thing about this, and that's why I wanted to share this with you, is that I always say like, this is why I love teaching this, because this is a skill that once you have it, it won't go away, right? Like it's something you've created, that you've created within yourself. And my official title is a teacher or a coach, but I always say to people, I'm not here to teach you anything. I'm not here to give you orders. I always more feel like I want to be a mirror for people. I want to share things with people, and then so people can find their own teacher within themselves. That's really the most important. So as you'll see, as I share with a lot of the work that we did, and I'll tell you the different parts as well, so you can kind of break it down for yourself and do this work yourself. So just to give you a bit of overview, and like I said, I've changed obviously a few things here to keep the privacy of this person. But the first work that I really did to get her to this place where she really feels like you can own her own mission, that this is something she wants, I said to her, I was like, the very first thing that we need to do is we really need to get clear on what your goals really are, right? Like, what is it you really want? And I know everyone, we all learn goal setting at some point or other, and people, at different stages with that. But it's something that we always need to go back to. I mean, I've been in business for myself for, 9 years, and I still have to do goal setting all the time, and I still get better at it every single time. And I think it's so important to really get good at setting goals and really digging deep what it is you really want. And again, this why I like when working with one-on-one clients, because I can kind of dig with people a little bit more as well. Because at the beginning I asked her, what her goals were, and they were quite different to what we eventually got to, because like, again, that's my job. I kind of keep asking, and I kind of go, okay, but what does it really want, here? And just to give you an example, like one of the goals at the beginning, she was, living in Sydney and wanting to move to Perth. So she's, doing a move with the whole family. One of the girls like, I want to buy a house over there, and it has to be like, 600,000, it's going to be a $600,000 house. And then we need a mortgage that's going to be da, 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 da. And I was like, and I let her create all these different goals. I always let people do that first. And then I asked later on, as we're going and getting more clear in those goals, I was like, is it really that you need a $600,000 house, or what is it you really want? And, as we're kind of digging, she was like, what's most importantly for me right now is that we just have a home, right? Like somewhere that we love living in, somewhere that we all feel comfortable, where we feel happy as a family, that's going to be beautiful, and we feel relaxed. And because she's, working from home. So I was like, well, maybe let go, you can still hold that goal of buying the, the beautiful house and everything, but maybe surrender in the fact of just, focus more on what it is you really want, which is the feeling of home, the feeling of feeling comfortable, a beautiful space. Because sometimes we get led to different types of goals. As long as we focus on the feeling, what we really want, rather than getting obsessive and trying to control. The problem is when we're trying to control, right? And I learned a lot of this because I used to be the biggest control freak of all, is, when we can achieve goals, don't get me wrong. When you set a goal and you just push no matter what to achieve it, you can. But the problem is the push will wear you out. And I know this from experience because I did this to myself, right? The push wears you out. It's much better to let yourself be pulled. And sometimes the universe, do you mean, like whatever you want to call it, brings things to you that are much better than what you had in your mind in the first place. And you get led in a very different direction. So I want you to kind of think of that as well. Like when you're setting your goals, set your goals and really be unrestricted. Ask for whatever it is you want. That you can write your goals as big as you want them to. But really focusing on the feeling. What is it that really is the feeling? Because we're emotional human beings. Like there's always a feeling about what we actually want. Like we always want, like I said, the feeling of love, the feeling of joy. We want to feel good inside. And when we focus on that more than the actual physical thing, we actually get what we're after, because it's always the emotion that we're after. So one really big thing to begin with is really just getting clear on what it is you want and being unapologetic for what you want, going all in and really, drafting out your dream. And again, some clients I work with, this is hard, right? A lot of people really struggle, and we have to do lots and lots of different sessions over and over again before we, and including myself, before we really allow ourselves to voice what it is we really want. But that, continues doing that work. That's the beauty of it. Think of it like being an architect. You can keep writing sketches and drafts until you're happy with what, you've got, and you're really excited. Like that is the most important thing, that when you look at your goals, you're excited, right? That's really something you want with, it brings you love and joy just looking at that list or the vision board or whatever you've got. Right. So that's our first step. So that's, and like I said, we did spend a fair bit of time on just really building the goals she wanted. But as soon as, and this is really the first and most important part, because in business, I always say to people, our job is really quite simply, it's to, we can have everything that we want as long as we're getting other people what they want. So our job is to always serve people. And if we focus on just giving them what they want and serving them at the highest level, we can just simply trust that everything that we want is going to get given to us. So this is why it's so important to set your goals and be unapologetic, go all out what you really truly desire. But then it's about letting it go. And this is an art of setting an intention and surrendering, which again, it took me quite a long time, because again, being a very controlling person, and the only way when I built my first company to, 7-figure business when I was, quite young, the only way I knew how to do that was just to push. And the push, like I said, it burns you out. It, creates so much, because, you're causing friction every time you push. So I was like determined to learn a different way. I was like, I need to learn to pull things. And the way I really learned to do that is by setting a goal, setting an intention, and then really surrendering. It is an art, right? And I'm still learning myself, but you do get better at it. And it's just setting the intention and then letting it go. Letting go of the control and really trusting in something that's, whatever you want to believe in, the universe, just your own consciousness, God, whatever you believe in, it doesn't really matter. Just believe in something that will be taken care of, as long as we're taking consistent aligned action, right? Because that's what we're going to be doing. So that's the first thing. We're really just focusing on the goal. And then we can start, like I said, we're really, for us to make this a reality, to really create it in our lives, it's about, like I said, serving other people, and to serve people at the highest level, I really believe we need to. That's where my spiritual practice comes in, because for me, spiritual practice just means, knowing and loving ourselves, because the better we can know and love ourselves, the more we can love and know other people. And I'm using love really, loosely here, because even our customers, we want to fall in love with our customers, the people that we're going to serve, right? The community that we're going to be building. So you want to, again, it's about understanding yourself. So one of the next exercises that we really we really dug into what Nina's really great, I call them creative geniuses. And your creative genius is really the kind of sweet spot between things that you have natural gift, like you have natural gifts. We all have a natural gift of something that we've just, again, our personality, the DNA we're born with, the experiences that we were kind of created in the early years, that we are really good at certain things. And the more we lean into that area of our life, the more we can actually contribute to other people. And the more we understand ourselves, and again, the more we love ourselves and do things to love ourselves, the better we can actually serve other people. So for me, my work starts when I get up, at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. Like, the first way that I really to serve other people is for me to like work out, to do my spiritual practice, like do my mindset work, right? Like all of that is actually working on myself to make myself happy and to make myself feel good and to make myself feel in a good place. So then I can show up and really serve people at the highest level. If I didn't do that and I just went straight into my work, which I used to do, like I said, I can't sustain a really high level of service to other people for a long period of time. Does that make sense? So that's a real practice of just getting to know yourself and really like, what do I need to do for me? And this is why, again, there's no universal right answer. It's about arriving at this for yourself, like knowing what's right for you and playing around with it, right? Like I played around with lots of different things until I really figured out what worked for me, but just keep testing and having fun with it, right? Like it's about you feeling good. And as soon as you can feel good and you feel strong and you feel healthy, that's when you can really show up for other people. And like I said, it's really narrowing in on some of those skill sets. Like for me, I really know that like I said, my creative genius is connecting with people. I am, been gifted really, I can speak in a very authentic way with people in person. I've learned it then to do it on video and through live streams. So, and teaching is something that I can do really good because I have a philosophy, a mind, and that's something I'm really passionate about. And I love reading and I love putting into simple concepts for people. And I love really sharing it from the heart. Like that is within my creative genius. So the more I do of that, the more I can serve other people. So that's another thing that you really want to, be focused on. And again, we did that with Nina, and she like really started getting, realizing, and again, a lot of those things as well are like, it's becoming clear on what makes you happy. Like for her, spending time with their kids, and, she also has a raw food business. So spending time and doing that, and, having these certain times, and there were certain things that she just realized, like, that's what she's really good at. She makes people feel really positive. She can make a lot of changes happen in herself. She's quite organized. So she knows her strengths, and then you can use those strengths to really propel yourself forward in the best way and serve other people. So that's the next thing that we really kind of did, was focus on what she was great at. Because once we know what we're great at, then we also start to know who is it that you're really going to serve, right? And for her, we, ended up really, she started, and, who you're going to serve, and also the mission that you're really there for. Because what I think most people don't do when they're working in MLM is you just take on the vision of that company. And that's fine if you want to just be a sales rep. And again, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. It just depends on what you want. But if you want to create something of your own, right, it's really your business, the vision and the mission has to be something bigger than the MLM. So the thing that we really came up with, for Nina, was it was a mission, like, because, again, she got started with this. It was a skincare MLM. She got started with it because she started using the products, loved it, really changed her, cleared up a lot of her problems. And she said, like, what she loved about it was just it made her feel so much confident. And because of that, she started going more to the gym, and she started investing more into her own personal development. And she's just grown into this much more confident, positive, human woman that she just hadn't ever been before. So what that was, as we were digging around that, and then kind of looking at who could she really help, who could she really serve at the best level, what is she really passionate about, we came up with this mission. And her mission was really to help moms to feel confident in their own skin, right? And the beautiful thing about that is we used it, my mission is to help moms feel confident in their own skin, because it's a metaphor. Obviously, it, kind of aligned really well being in, with the skincare MLM, but it's also a metaphor. Like I said, feeling good in your skin is just feeling good about yourself, because really what she was so passionate about was helping moms feel more confident, because she went through that own transformation herself. And she had a passion for actually helping other mums do the same. So once you kind of identify that and you've got this kind of more overall mission, further down the track, she could leave the MLM and she can take that business with her. Does that make sense? Like she could go into, and again, she's got plans of doing that later down the track, like, you know, go into speaking, or you can write a book, or you can, you know, teach workshops, or, you know, coach or consult. Like there's so many different avenues that you can go with that, because you know your mission, right? And the mission doesn't change. Like my mission is just to help moms feel more confident. The same as my just like mission in life is really to help people feel more, you know, joyful, passionate within themselves, right? And really unlock that creativity and their own teacher within themselves. So I can change what I'm doing, like, but my mission never changed. But that's what I really am passionate about, and that's what I know I have a gift for. So does that make sense? I hope, and you guys can feel free to like leave a comment or ask any questions or hit me up if any doesn't make any if you've got a question. But this is really important, because that mission statement, and like I said, this takes inner work. This took us, again, there's no time frame. Different people take different times, because like I said, everyone's different. But really take the time to do this properly, because you wanna, and again, you can obviously revise your vision and your mission. Like as we change through business, it will change and evolve as well. But it really is like, once you're clear on that mission, everything becomes so easy. Like creating content becomes so easy. Like there's a lot of work up front, but then it's like going to the gym, right? Like then you've got a healthy body, and everything else is much easier down the track. Because once you had that mission, when it came to creating the content, right? And, you know, for her, we had like chosen Instagram as her platform, because she really, again, by knowing who she was, she felt like the best way she could communicate with her audience was through writing. She wanted to write more, and she loved Instagram, and she loved being on the platform. Again, I always say to people, choose a platform you love being on. There's no right or wrong platform. They all work. You know, you want to just make sure obviously your audience is on there. But other than that, you just choose what you love hanging out, and where you feel like you can communicate with people best. And we knew that for her was Instagram. So when it came to creating content, you know, I gave her a bit of a structure on like kind of how to do the post, because again, one of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of MLMs do, and you know, this was even what she was doing before I started working with her, which was just posting about the product like nonstop. And I said, like, if you just post about the product nonstop, the problem with that is this is not your own product, right? Like it's somebody else's product. And if you make it all about the product, then why would they buy from you? They can just go and buy from any of the other million reps that are out from that, or just go to the company directly and buy, right? You need to, when you're going to be using somebody else's product in any type of form, like you have to, again, like I said, add that extra value. So I restricted her down. Again, you know, like I said, I don't give I give people a guideline, and then they can do what they want. But I said to her, like, try just doing not more than one product post a week, right? And she was doing 14 posts a week. So I was like, I really want you to focus so much more on serving your community and really sharing things. Like your mission is, I want to make moms feel more confident in their own skin. So what things can you share? Like what stories can you share? What quotes can you share? What things that you can, you know, you feel passionate about? Maybe there's even a skin product that's nothing to do with the one that you sell, or like even a homemade remedy, or one of your you know, raw cakes that you make that you feel is also good for your health, like inside, right? Like, so I just made the mission about, every piece of content is just always about the mission, helping women feel more confident, and also building a relationship with people. Like let people get to know you and build that relationship with people. And like I said, within such a short period of time, like she was just amazed at the responses that people were having, and she was just feeling so good of putting the content out. Like I said, and she needed very little guidance. I was just blown away looking at her own content, because I gave her, like, the truth is I gave very little input on what the content should be, except for a little bit of a, like I said, I gave her a bit of a guideline, because I find if people have too much creativity, like sometimes it's hard for us to get started at the beginning. I gave her some simple guidelines, but everything came from her. And that's what makes content really powerful. That's what it makes it authentic. That's when you become creative. Creativity actually comes when we're in alignment. It actually is, creative ideas are constantly flowing through us unless we're blocking them. And we create those blocks through our own fears and not knowing exactly what it is we want. That's just why I believe 80% of the work is internal, right? We have to do it on ourselves. Everything else will come through you as you need it. And, you know, if you're not a spiritual person or anything, it doesn't mean, like, there's literally, I read just as many neuroscience books as I read spiritual books. They say the same thing, right? Like, to be creative, your mind All that being creative means is that your mind is actually creating new neural synapses, right? Like we're creating new neural pathways in our mind, and our brain is actually geared, like we're scratching the surface of what our creative mind is possible, capable of, because we're so trapped in our kind of survival ego mind all the time, right? We're worrying about what other people are thinking, and like we have all sorts of other fears, or we're not clear, we're feeling overwhelmed because we don't know what social media platform to post on, or we're feeling stressed out because whatever reason you're else coming up with, like we have these fears, and that's what's actually blocking that creativity. As soon as you get rid of that and you do the work, and again, getting clear on what it is you actually want helps get rid of a lot of that anxiety and fear and overwhelm. The creative ideas will actually come through you, and it's such a beautiful process. So it's a very different way. I know that most people probably teach marketing, and definitely probably what the advice out there is for MLM. So that's why I just wanted to share it, because I think it was a really beautiful transformation. Like I said, watching Nina go through it, and if you want to, like I said, create something of your own and really express yourself, because I think that's really why most of us become entrepreneurs. It's not the money, right? By itself. Like, yes, the money is great, but the money will flow. And again, it happened to her. Like, she was having, by the end of last month that we worked together for 3 months, and by the end last month she had her highest paying months. But it was just flowing, right? It was flowing, not because she was focused on it and like definitely doing what she was doing, most of the internal work, and then just putting that into practice. And again, you get excited about sharing content when it's yours, right? When you have a mission, and when you really feel like it's serving and helping people, and you're speaking with your authentic voice. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. If anyone's interested as well, I'm actually, as I'm recording this, tomorrow I'm actually hosting also a workshop on, I'm going to do a live training, which by the time this comes out, you probably can still watch it with the recording though in my Facebook group, which I can link up. It's on how to make an impact with authentic and creative content. So that's more about like how do I communicate in a really authentic way that also impacts people, and how to create that kind of content. So if you're interested in that, I'll link it up in this in this class as well. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to just hit me up. I'm always happy to answer any questions.